All good. Ready to rock and roll.
All right. What's up, everybody? Clint Esposito here with a little review of the very first Night of the Jumps 2025 in Munchen, right, Steve? That's how it's spelled, Munchen.
It's spelled Munchin. I think it's pronounced more like Munchin, but you're pretty close. Pretty close.
Well, I thought it was Munich.
Yeah, it is Munich, but that's the English version.
Oh, okay.
And then actually, I think for the Italians, they call it Monaco. It's Monaco in Italian. Yeah.
Man, they really
know what
churched it up, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You got to go wash a de Sol and then drive to Monaco.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it was a fun event. I really, you announced, I helped judge, and I don't know who had a harder time that one because
not me.
Pretty.
I had a great time. I was not judging,
Dude,
so I was having the best time in the entire arena. I think for that show.
The finals came down pretty close, and it was like, this is a difficult one. So we're gonna watch a little bit leading up to that, and then we'll watch the two final runs from first and second, and just you guys can tell me I'm an idiot or whatever, or that you agree.
I've had a lot of different messages in the last couple of days.
Really?
So. Oh yeah. But anyway, I have my opinions. You have yours, and I think a lot of people have theirs. So we will see. Don't worry, I'm on your side on this one. But I've certainly had the opposite come through.
It's hard, and people will see why, and where I'm at with why I chose what I chose. But yeah.
Oh, good. No, well, let's check out the quali, and then we'll get to the fun stuff at the end, which is, turns out. I mean, for me, it's awesome. Like, it's cool that we've got guys like Luke and Mincha and Malero and whatever, they're all throwing down different stuff. And it's cool that not every judge is the same either. And the crowds like different things.
And so that's the thing, right, is because everybody's styles and the big tricks they have vary so much. It really is like comparing apples to oranges sometimes, to be like, does this trick, is that even to that other trick, even though they're totally different, being a front flip ramp or a regular ramp or a super kicker or,
Yeah, no, exactly. Anyway, let's check out the quali, and then we'll,
so
throw out a statement or two. A couple of statements for a nice content viral load, I would say.
So this podcast is brought to you by Tough Jug. You can actually get free shipping on Tough Jug by using the code 2wheels25, and they have, if you can see in this little video here, they have a self cut off nozzle there, so you don't have to, won't spill. Yeah, let's let him play it again, because watch,
what are you talking about?
Watch on the left hand side.
Yeah.
Okay, now watch, it'll just hit the end of the nozzle and shut off.
Oh, what?
So no overfilling your tank, no gas all over your crotch region. Or
Man,
you're not going to
coming from my petrol cap that doesn't fit properly anyway. So,
well, at least you won't hurt your graphics pre-ride.
That's true. That's true. Man, that's cool. So what is it? Must be same kind of technology as at the pump.
I guess I'm not really 100% sure what.
As long as those affiliate codes work, that's all that matters right now. But looks good to me. I'm up for a Tough Jug.
All right, so you want the damn commercial.
Oh, somebody's cheap and dropped out of their YouTube Premium. Oh, there we go.
Look at this guy.
No, get this guy off the screen. Oh, wow, man, you've picked it nicely. So we're going to start with very first rider in qualification. And actually, this was this was a tough thing to do because I write out the presentation list and the order that things go in, and I'm like, we have to put Libor Podmol first because he was drawn in the group with Davide Rossi, and so Davide Rossi's group, he finished second last year in the championship. Luke finished first. So we have two groups. Luke, of course, will go in the second group after Best Whip. Davide Rossi's group goes first. The names in that group was Davide Rossi, Mate Chesak, so second last year and third last year, Michael Malero and Libor Podmol. And I'm like, we have to send out two world champions first for the whole show. This is insane. But anyway,
Which also made it difficult judging because I'm like, Libor is so good, but I can't go too high on scores because then we know
you
there's
don't
a
know what's
yeah,
coming.
exactly. So I'm like,
Man.
okay, gonna have
I
to
mean,
be.
almost in a way, like you kind of know what Libor's coming with, but then he always can surprise you with something way out of left field. Like, yeah, that was a tough start.
Maybe he's slowed down a little bit since he's 40
I think he has,
now.
but
just on
he still is.
just on
Yeah,
bringing out crazy stuff that you didn't know was going on.
yeah, that's true. He was talking about whoa, Super Can India. I mean, that's a tech trick
Yeah.
that not many guys do on a backflip. Um, but yeah, he's talking about doing vaults again and body varials of some description.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of all he's missing here from his former runs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There you go. He
Nice old
used that was next gen.
next gen, yeah, double neck kicking off the seat like Libor style. So it was a good run, like we've been talking the whole time, and an underflip. That was a nice underflip.
Which who even does
Uh,
underflips anymore?
exactly. Hardly anybody. Like
Yeah, it
just old
basically
guys
went
like him
away.
and Andre Villa. Yeah.
Exactly. Is Villa still riding? Oh yeah, he's got
Mhm.
a demo set up or
Yeah,
something,
he's
right?
busy with Monster Energy. I got a show with him on Monday in Switzerland at MXGP. Although
Awesome.
he's out with injury right now.
Uh,
He just got back on, and then I don't actually know what happened, but he's off the bike. I'll find that out. I'll find out what happened. But yeah, so Libor Podmol, awesome run. Like right now, I was thinking, yeah, that could go to the final. Double up, cliffhanger backflip, and I don't know what he was thinking, and he went for a no hand lander and swapped out.
into the bag. Airbag no hand landers.
Already a
Questionable.
bad idea. he, I think last year he did at least one, maybe two no hand landers on the bag, and I was like, whoa, okay, that's I give you respect for that. And then unfortunately when he went for it this time, it was even after he landed. It's like
Yeah.
I was thinking that he was thinking about it and just he was off with timing. Then I was talking to him in the break and he's like, oh no, I didn't even process. He's like, I just landed and went, oh fuck, I really should have done a no hand lander. And then he just screwed it all up. Yeah, there you can see. He almost held it.
Almost held it.
Almost held it.
I would have given
But
him extra points if he had swapped that hard and then not fallen.
oh yeah, yeah, like 2 bonus points. 2 bonus points at the rodeo. So, yeah, man, like these were good tricks. Like from your point of view when you were judging, like first run and that came out, what were you thinking?
Well, just what I said. I was like, oh no. Where do I start? Because like
Yeah.
you said, I'm like, he's first. You got Malero, you got Rossi, and then we knew in the second round there was a Luke, and so I'm like, I guess I'm gonna have to kind of go a tiny bit lower than I would normally on a Libor run, just because we don't know what's coming up after it.
Yeah.
That's
And
almost the
then he
thing.
helped you by crashing. So then
Yeah,
you did go
exactly.
low.
Exactly. We're like, okay, well, at least you fell over.
And and actually I think even like in my memory at the time I was still like that's a pretty high score for Libor with the little bobble at the end.
Yeah.
But he deserved it. So,
Well, that's I was kind of also like, he did fall, but it was kind of like everything was already over.
Exactly.
So he'd already put in a good run. And like you said, it was kind of like if you had just not gone for that no-handed lander.
Yeah. Yeah, like those points there were all kind of like 70 to 76 out of 100 per judge. Like that's not bad with a bobble.
Yeah.
That could have been 80s nearly from the judges, and that's a pretty good score. But yeah, so then Michael Malero front flip knack knack, and I got to say that leg was all the way over on the knack knack.
They are both of them, him and Mincha, are getting them good, but it's you can see nobody's really like opening the hip up.
Yeah,
You
it's not
know,
Javier Villegas.
no, no, it's weird. I'm sure it's because of the access of the front flip. You can't like stop it that much by getting like real sideways.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, nice
But it,
no-handed front flip.
yeah, but I would say like it's better than when you see just like this one dangling foot and
Yeah,
trying to call that a knack. Like
no, for
at
sure.
least at least they were over. But yeah, I was thinking the same. Like to get off axis on a front flip, probably not that much fun.
Somebody'll do it, and then we'll be like, "What?"
Yeah, I'm gonna call out Javier. Like that dude has done fronties in the old days.
I think
So
he's over fronties, to be quite honest with
is
you.
he?
I think
Oh,
so. I haven't talked to him about it, but he landed on his face pretty good there one time. I
oh,
think
that
he's
that was one of the worst crashes ever. Like he still does have the medal for one of the worst crashes on that front flip. I think
yeah.
it was his first ever frontie, right? To do it.
No, he had done a couple, I think,
Uh,
and then just a couple in, he just over rotate. I don't think it was his first one, to be quite honest with you.
right. Okay. Well, I got a bad
Let
memory. That's fine.
let's see what Malero's double up. I assume it's going to be a front flip variation.
Yeah, front flip ramp. Oh yeah, the indie front flip. So I think from memory, that's the very first indie front flip we've seen at Night of the Jumps. Um, I probably mistakenly said later on that the tsunami front flip was the first. Actually, David Ronaldo had done that before, a fair few years ago. But I think that was the first indie fronty for the double up. Awesome run, like everything clean, like big tricks, some new tricks, something different. That was a really good run, I thought, from Malero.
Yeah, I mean Malero never disappoints, right? I mean,
No,
worst case
exactly.
scenario,
Like,
he falls, but his run is, everything until that is still going to be big and executed perfectly.
yeah, that's it. He doesn't bring anything to the comp that he doesn't know that he could land in rain, hail, or snow.
Yeah,
Like he comes with everything. Like that shows how like that perfect landing on every jump. Like he's just greasing it. This is just another day in the foam pit for Malero, pretty much.
yeah. And I think, listen, I don't think he would have to do very much with that front flip knack, right? Like, not even swing the bike out, just kind of open his hip up a tiny bit more.
Yeah.
And you're like 90% of knacks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. Yeah, true. Yeah, very true on
Only
that.
some people get the bike all twisted out and, really spin around backwards and stuff. So that was definitely a
That's
good big one. But you can tell that the Malero compound has been very front flip ramp heavy over the last year.
yeah, they've been busy. Like they've been wearing that ramp down, I think. Like
Yeah,
it is a mechanism. It's a piece of metal that is going to wear and break down. And actually, funnily you say that or that we're talking about it. In training, that front flip ramp, the rocker mechanism wasn't coming back every time.
really.
It was the first time. So I looked at it just yesterday when I went up to the warehouse, and you can kind of see the poor old metal work. Like it's solid, but it's a fraction less solid than when they built it. Like that's always getting hit with 100-kilogram motorbike. I don't know how many kilos these guys. Well, Malero's probably like 30. But like force is hitting that front
Yeah.
flip ramp every single time. So we might have to go and do some running repairs on that front flip ramp.
Oh, hey, buy
Oh,
Tough Jug. You can get free shipping.
yep. Screw these guys. Get a
just,
tough jug instead.
just run my own ad. You need to grease that ramp. I'm sure that would help. Grease the
I would say
actuator.
so, yeah. Yeah, I would say so, yeah. Yeah, it just needs a little bit of love, but it's probably like a 5-year-old ramp. Um, so it's just a couple of times we noticed it, which going into a competition, if you're not thinking about it and it hasn't reset itself, you're in
Yeah.
trouble.
Yes.
Right, so Mate Chesak, yeah, Mate's coming off of a shoulder injury. He
You
just
couldn't
had
tell.
no, not until his lazy flip. Um I think he like this next trick coming up. Now you're gonna have to. What do you call this trick that he's about to do? You call it, and then
All
we'll
right.
see where we're at.
I'm gonna say it's like a flatliner.
All right,
Indie.
but there was a first like an indie into the bike, and then like double knacks out, and I was like, fuck, I don't even know what I'd call that. Like,
Yeah, I think it's like because he was flat and the bike was flat. It was like a no knack or a flatliner indie, I would
yeah,
say.
no, that's cool. No, but it was until this trick, and you're like, oh yeah, that right arm didn't come off the bars on
I
the
don't
lazy
think
flip.
either one of them. You said that before during the
No,
thing, but I
I
don't
think
think either one came off. Did it?
I think the left hand came off. I think that was just a bad angle on because I was like sitting kind of under him. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't even see it in that.
No,
No, I
from
was
here.
sitting on the ground. I was looking up towards him, and I could see his left hand came off.
Uh,
Um, but yeah, like so 2 weeks ago we did the press conference for Dresden round two, June 14th. If anybody wants to come for a trip to Germany, that's when you got to do it, June 14th. And Mate did the press jump in front of like this church, which was like after World War II was like the only thing standing in Dresden.
Jeez.
So it was a pretty epic place. And like, oh, how you feeling? He's like, today's like my second ride in
Oh wow.
3 months. I was like, oh wow, okay. And he's like, yeah, my shoulder ain't good. And then you could kind of see here that he still wasn't good. Oh, and Dan on the skateboard on the camera. I don't know if you saw him, but I actually had a few comments from people like in the crowd and from the live stream later saying they were just pumped to see the camera guy on a skateboard.
You got to make sure you have no cables or anything on the floor for him to roll around there.
Oh, imagine if he bins it in front of everyone. All right, double up, front flip, dead sailor like the first front flip he did.
I was gonna
So
say there's a couple times you could see that maybe he was thinking something more, like even on his backflip, he looked down at his seat the one time, and then that one you could tell like he probably had something else in mind, and then was just like,
yeah,
not feeling it.
yeah. I'm pretty sure he has no hand fronties and maybe a knack fronty as well. So I guess no hands wouldn't have helped him. That
No.
would have hurt the shoulder. Um,
Oh, there you go. He
oh,
did take his
actually,
hand off a little.
oh, shut the front door. Okay, there was a little. It was.
One
It
hand.
looks like one little one hander. Okay, so maybe he was going no handers, and he decided no. Let's just hold on to this one.
He felt good enough to point at the crowd after that no hander though.
Yeah, that was the start. That was the little Javier style again. When he does a lazy flip and then just looks at the crowd halfway through. I love when guys can do that because your world is upside down and you're like you don't really know where you are when you change your focus
Oh, there you go.
halfway through a back. There you go.
Yeah, but you can kind of feel your rotation. You
Yeah.
know if you're spinning or not
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
to an
Um
extent.
I always found when I was doing stuff like that, if I started looking to the side on a flip, like my body would just follow my eyes, and I'd just start
Get
like
crooked.
I would start getting crooked, yeah, and I just stopped doing it. Then I just gave up on that.
I think it was Javier even. We flipped side by side. It was him or Ed Rossi, and we flipped, and I looked over. We were both upside down, and I never did it that much, but I do remember doing it a couple times, and it was kind of fun. I didn't really get
Yeah,
a crooked.
you didn't get corked out. Okay, that's good.
No, so that's one way I beat you in backflips because you did super flips and stuff, but I could look over.
I couldn't. No, I was not about looking around on a flip. I just never got that feeling. But speaking of Rossi, this is Davide Rossi from Italy. So actually, I was going to talk about this in the telecast, but I kind of forgot. It was supposed to be Leo Fini and Davide Rossi from Italy, and these guys like live 20 minutes from each other, train together, and unfortunately, Leo had a massive crash
Mm,
at Michael Maro's place during the week, like leading into this event.
uh,
Um, and Malero told me it was like the biggest rock solid backflip you've ever seen. Fifth jump of the day. He's like, I don't know why, but Leo came out, just threw down basically his night of the jumps run, and fifth jump, rock solid flip. He's like, and I went, what? Bigger than Harry? Bigger than Tucker? And Malero was like, yeah, it was the biggest ever done. But he just kind of came in just a fraction under rotated, and yeah, ruptured spleen,
oh wow,
emergency surgery. So that's why we didn't have Leo in Munich, which absolutely sucks. It would have been really
yeah.
good to see him.
So I don't know if it was that particular one that he crashed on, but I saw a picture recently of Leo doing a rock solid flip.
Oh, you saw the photo? Yeah,
Bro,
that might have been the one.
it was huge.
That, yeah, I couldn't do a rock solid that big upright.
I was just gonna say that. Like he just basically made every rock solid I ever did look terrible upside down.
Exactly. Oh man, yeah, that's so wild. Again, I don't know if that's the one that he crashed on. I guess so because it was huge. But yeah. Anyway, so Davide Rossi doing it for the Italians. He was riding really good.
He always
Um
does. He's very consistent. So this Javier, because I know that you were asking, Javier calls this a seat solid instead of a rock solid, where you go one hand bar, one hand seat, let go, back to the seat.
Yeah, I call it the bar solid, but yeah, kind of seat solid, bar solid makes sense. Stripper flip, nobody else was doing that. Although Mincha did come with a shell in later on. So only two riders with a bar trick in their repertoire.
Yeah.
And this is the one hand
Yep.
seat solid, one
Well,
hand
that's what Javier calls it.
bar solid kind of thing.
He's better, so I let
And
him name it.
yeah, yeah, but he comes from Mexico, so you know English isn't
That's
his
right.
first language.
He comes from Chile, Mexico, the
Yeah.
small town.
Small town Chile from Mexico, exactly.
It's a small
Oh.
town in Mexico, Chile.
Oh, he's gonna hate it.
I tell him that all
S
the time. He doesn't. I make fun of him. He's fine with it. He knows that Americans think that if it's not America, if it's south of America, it's all Mexico.
Yeah, and if it's north of America, well, it's
North
all trouble
Mexico.
now, but it's North Mexico. So, yeah, this was a solid run from Davida. I was thinking he had, like, so much time he could get an extra couple of jumps in, and that was the
Ugh.
one-handed knack front flip, and I don't think that's ever been done before.
I don't think so either. That was awesome.
Yeah. The only issue I have with it was the knack, like what we were saying. Like that was more like not dropping the foot, but not like a full knack. But he committed as soon as he was off that lip. He was straight into one hand knack fronting. I would just
Well,
say if he just a little bit extra extension in Dresden or something, I'd be super pumped on that.
yeah. But you got to think without having the leverage of that other hand, it's probably even more awkward
Almost
than.
impossible. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It's just like straight back, not kind of like over.
Yeah. Like if he went kind of like I think Colby Gort does it and
Dude.
maybe Harry where they reach for the boot. Like even if he reached
Yeah.
back and got the boot grab would be pretty sick. But man, that's trying to tell a guy who just did a trick that's never been done before how to do it bigger.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Well,
I should probably calm down, hey?
you're just critiquing from this, from a point of view of you could get like uh scored better if it was, slightly
Exactly.
tweaked.
Yeah,
Well,
that's it.
Colby does a no-handed knack,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true.
but that's not in
That's
a
sick.
flip, is it? Does he do them in flips?
He does no one-handed knack in flips, which are big, and then no-handed knack
Regular
upright,
ones,
which
which
are
are
also
huge.
massive.
And I'm like, I
Also,
don't trust my shifter that much. Sorry.
yeah, but I wouldn't use a shifter, so
Is
it
that
depends if
not?
you're a
Does he
shifter
have a
kind of
hook?
guy. I don't know. Not sure. Not sure. Good question.
I think he's
Actually,
shifter in it,
have you seen Darren Wright?
dude.
Um,
All of his tricks are awesome.
I saw his no-handed knack the other day, and I was just like, oh, like if he had a flip and a bunch of flip combos, oh my god, and then throw in some fronties as well, and maybe double in a 360. But he's like, he has got a damn good basis right now. Like
Yeah.
if he wants
Oh
to
yeah.
step it up, would be sick. So
Dude,
yeah, there you go. That's quality 249 to so basically, I don't know what the scores were. It doesn't matter. But Malero and who do we say? Malero and Davide Rossi. They qualified. Top two from the four go to the final. But yeah,
oh,
no. So Darren Wright, man, if he comes with some backflip combos, oh my god, that would be
yeah.
massive.
No, I love his style. All of his tricks are very unique. He's got some cool combos. I'm gonna skip best whip.
Yeah, good
Oh,
idea. So
toughjug.com.
get are they tough jugs? Nice.
Those were not the tough jugs I was referring
They
to.
were not the right ones. Okay, all right. So this is the second quali group. We've now skipped Best Whip. If you want to watch Best Whip, jump over to Night of the Jumps YouTube and you can watch the whole thing. This is the second qualifying group. So this is Luke's group, basically. And
So
in here we got Paul Maness. Oh,
is
yeah.
that how did Paul fill in for Leo?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So Paul Manesi is the Leo Feeney replacement. So it was really kind of lucky that Paul was. I think a show just got cancelled the day before I rang
Oh
him,
wow.
and he's like, "Well, you're lucky. I can make it." Um, yeah, but he's also, funnily enough, also riding the Fantic 250XX, the same as Leo. So him and Brees and Leo all
And
on
he
the new
showed up with his own
Italian
bike?
Yamaha. Yep. Yeah. So he drove up from Marseille in France. So probably a solid, I don't know, 10 hours? Probably more. Probably 12-hour drive at last minute, which was good. And yeah, it was a pretty good run. That ramp there is the left 8 meter in the synchro, and everyone hated that ramp. I hated that ramp when I jumped it 10 years ago, and it's still there. And funnily enough, he was the only guy really using it. And then it was the Saran wrap
Uh,
flip, and then he's gonna hit the ground.
just short.
That was
Other than
yeah,
that, he was perfect. He was just like a couple of feet short and came up on that knuckle.
that's it. And on that ramp, so that's the Euro ramp return, but it's been jacked up like maybe what's that, 15 centimeters or something? Like, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 inches. Because that is the side with the next gen ramp on it. So we have like the 1 meter high wedge to make that landing taller. So
Uh
yeah, he just needed a little bit more gas on that ramp. Um, just because we've raised it up higher than normal. So that landing's like 5.5 meters tall. In feet, no idea. I don't know. maybe 16 feet high. Would that make sense? 5 meters,
Probably.
5 times 3, yes, maybe 16, maybe 17 feet tall. So yeah, like he committed fully to then he realized he was coming up short, but it was already all over.
He realized he was coming up short so late because he never even went back to the bar.
Yeah, it was only that last split second. He's like, "Oh, just go back to the bar." No, 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 no. Hey, now imagine if that was dirt landing or scaffolding.
Oh, that would have
That
been,
would have taken the wind out of him because he got bounced from the top to the bottom. Like
yeah,
there was no middle ground on that one.
end of the night for sure. At
Yeah,
least.
that would have knocked the wind out of his sails at least.
So what do they do for the Fantic for the Yamaha to make it a Fantic? They put like cologne on it and
Give it a watch. Give it a nice gold watch and a really nice belt.
they slick its hair back. They're like, all right.
Exactly. Oh my god, I need more thought process for that one. That was good.
A chain with an Italian horn. It's ready to go.
Alright, the Italian Yamaha. There you go. So yeah, there's the
Ooh,
slow mo again.
that's
I
a good
said if
slap
yeah,
right there.
yeah, he was lucky he was on an airbag on that one. But yeah, I mean this yeah, the run was that ruler was actually getting a little bit out of control because normally he's solid on those rulers. Because we saw him last year and it was perfect. It was a really good run. This one just felt a bit rushed.
Yeah.
Um, he texted me after the show and he was a bit disappointed. And I was like, man, you might be disappointed, but you got a really good crash video out of that. So got to
Yeah,
look for the positives.
yeah, exactly. He just a little bit off that night, and who knows? New Rams hasn't ridden him in the year or something like that,
Yeah.
and or just maybe a little bit nervous, and wanting to perform.
And
Uh,
I called him up only a couple of days before,
exactly.
so he had next to no um, preparation for it. Like he's in show mode down
Yeah,
in France. Uh, so yeah, it wasn't really going the right way for him.
that's all right. He survived. Got a crash clip. Didn't no worse for
Didn't hurt
wear in
himself.
the long run. Yeah, exactly. So now we
That's
got
it.
old
Son.
Zapsa coming from
Yeah.
Poland, the only Polish rider at Night of the Jumps.
Oh yeah, and riding on the new YZ 450. So he decided to make the change over Christmas time because he was finding last year with the next gen on some of those really short arenas, he just didn't have the speed on the 252 stroke. So as you can tell, like even on a 450, he's a pretty big dude.
Yeah.
He's making that bike look small. And yeah, he's like, I just need more power. He made the move to the 450. But you can kind of tell, like, he just also wasn't 100%. Like last year, he got better and better and better every single round. He is one of the new young guns. And yeah, he's just like, just getting used to the 450, really.
Did you ride both?
Yeah, 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 yeah. It took me. I loved the 450 that it made all of my tricks better, but I never got used to the speed of it.
Really?
Yeah, I overjumped everything. Like
Oh, really? So
you
the
might as well just set a ramp up on a flat field. Like I didn't touch the landing anywhere I went.
so the bike I rode for freestyle was Brian McCarty's old
Oh
one,
yeah.
and he had it geared like 4 teeth up in the back, so
Yep.
that you would know if you were gonna go long at 75.
Yeah. Yeah, Sheeny. I rode Sheeny's and I think his was 3 teeth up as well on the back. And I still sent that thing to the flat every time. Like I don't know. I just didn't meld with it properly. Yeah.
So Zaps had a solid run. I think he's oh no, he's still doing his regular. He got some
Double
bonus
up.
tricks in. Is this his
Yeah,
double up
bonus.
or is this just
Yeah, this is the double up, so finish with the Indy flip. Yeah, it wasn't as good as last year when we saw him by the end of the season, but I mean, hey,
Still solid.
consistency pays off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
consistency pays off. Just do the right things and have another couple of months practice at home and come to Dresden and let's see what happens.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be all got this one out of the way, got the butterflies out of the way, and I bet he goes home and he comes out in Dresden firing on all cylinders.
That's it, exactly. And actually, even yesterday, he texted me and said he just got his knee cleaned out from an old ACL injury. So it was under the knife just yesterday for a little quick tune up. I mean, that's kind of the gnarly thing as well about FMX. And I guess it does go for other sports, but like he was obviously not 100% if he's telling me 2 days
Right.
after the event that he just got his knee cleaned out. And you're still showing up in front of 10,000 people doing flips and just getting on with the gig. Like it is pretty gnarly.
Yeah, for sure. And all of us that have done this ride, with some kind of ailment at some time. But it's cool that he didn't even make a big deal about it. You know what I mean? You didn't even know until after.
No idea. No idea. And then just yesterday, it's like, oh yeah, just got my knee done. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, just chilling.
There's that seat kick, no neck by
Oh
Zapsa as
yeah, I
well.
did see that. Yeah, he took a little bit of Libor Podmol um style on that one, kicking the seat first and then pushing off. And then this is the man that everybody came to see. Um, Last year, Jose Mincha came to Hanover, the last round of competition, 2024, and we all saw what he could do on Instagram at Malero's house. But foam pits and airbags at home that you train on all day, every day is one thing. Turning up and doing it in a competition with the pressure, with the time, maybe not your bike, definitely not your ramps. How would he go? And he got second last year, and he's learnt more tricks since then. And actually, just before this event, 2 weeks before, he beat Luc Ackermann in Costa Rica at X Nights. The week later, he beat Michael Malero at the Spanish Championships. So he'd just beaten two world champions on two completely different styles of competition. What can he do this time? So this is quali, of course, but first time we got to see him, knack front flip like Malero. I'd say Malero's was maybe better.
I think so too. Is a little bit. His leg was a little bit further over.
Yeah.
There you go.
Huge
That's. I was
flatliner.
gonna say that's
That was
definitely a flatliner.
hell yeah. Like that was I don't know where that came from, but I love that he's learned that. He's only been riding FMX for like a year and a half or something.
Oh, really?
Indie, yeah, yeah, yeah. Indie front flip. Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise. He's just been riding perfect lazy flip.
And I agree with what you said
Um,
about the legs, because at first I was like, it's a little weird, but I'm like, he did get his back to the seat, which is very hard to do on lazy boy flips. People usually don't get that extension.
yeah, exactly. Um, and it's something that I noticed from Adelberg on front flip lazies. He also locks in exactly the same on the
Yeah, you're
fronty,
right.
but I think guys like Sheeny are full legs stretched on the lazy flip. Nate Adams,
But again, those guys, I feel like touch the seat quickly or get
for a
close, and
fraction of
then
a
they kind of
second.
rotate away from it. Whereas
Exactly.
he basically got himself pressed against the seat, the whole
Yeah,
time.
for a second.
Yeah.
Like, that was a good Mississippi that he was
Yeah.
holding onto that seat.
Exactly. I figured you guys would say something else. Or they're like
Moonchy Doonchi, I don't know. Here we go. And the Cordova front flip. Now, I think he went for that in Mannheim last year. Would have been the first one ever. Didn't get it. It was more like a shin scraper. So that was the first Cordova front flip, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was done in Nitro, but I don't think so. Nitro World Games. Anyway,
yeah,
as
I
long
don't
as my
remember.
memory is bad, I'm gonna say that was the first Cordova front flip. I can be proven wrong later.
That's the first one you remember, so.
It's the first one. Well, then there's a lot of tricks on here that are first. So
Well,
like this was perfect.
that was good, and I think, like, he was a little far forward, but he got the extension, and I think to do probably a front flip Cordova, you I assume, probably need to jump yourself forward, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So that, like you said, he
True.
got fully over and he put it down, but it wasn't like as far away from the bike as Malero's.
Yeah,
But that
exactly.
was big.
That was big. The flatliner, actually looking from that angle underneath. Oh, and the lazy flip.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly
perfect.
what you're talking about. No one's doing lazy flips that good,
No.
apart from his legs. But again, that's a critique because that is our job. But
And
apart from that, man, that was
how
huge.
many people do Shaolin flips?
Mm-hmm.
Not very many.
Not that many. Not that many. So 259. So at that point there, that was 10 points higher than Malero in Group 1. Um, but it doesn't really matter because they're two separate quali groups. So already the top two from, Malero and David Rossi are in the final. Mincha was currently sitting in first. And from what I heard, like mountain bike guys, some of our crew, they said they were looking at Luke backstage. Probably not before this point, but definitely before the final. And they're like, we haven't actually seen Luke look even remotely stressed in a long time. Like he actually had to take a deep breath and think about what he was going to do for his run.
Yeah, I was even thinking that too. I was like, okay, well, Luke's really got to lay it down now in the final after Minch's run,
That's
which
it.
we will get to.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, old Lukey, he has had not that it's been an easy run, but the last couple of years there hasn't been like one particular rider who's really taken it to Luke. And Minch is doing it with completely different tricks.
Right.
So I think this is like the hard part. Um, Again, you're talking about apples and oranges. That's where we're at right now. Um, yeah, Luke's coming here with apples. He's coming with like the traditional big FMX tricks, and Minch is just rolling in with heaps of hype, of course, but he's
Cool
coming with cool new
style.
tricks, cool style. Yeah, it's exciting to see, and this is the part where I'm glad I'm not you and the other three judges because this is hard. So first trick, massive ruler
Yeah.
flip.
He does not have a hurt shoulder.
No, and if he does, he forgot about it for that second. Actually,
Huge
even
holy
his
grab.
holy grab, like that was on the next gen. And in the past, his seat grab tricks were his downfall. But that was big.
Yep. Perfect front
Regular.
hand, front flip, no
Yeah.
hander. And you notice he went up. Everybody, not like it's a huge
Kind of out to
difference.
the side a bit.
Yeah, exactly. Big
Yeah,
360. He
massive.
did get the stall on that one and look back. The final, not so much. But
Exactly. And like you can kind of see there, he's chilling. This is his regular run. These are his regular tricks. He knows what he's doing. He's kind of chilling right now.
well, that's the thing. When
Because
I saw their runs, I was like, okay. But once you see,
until this,
yeah.
until that, that was not chilling. That was get me back on. But yeah, until that point, he was kind of chilling.
And now look, who can rip their handlebars like this and have their front wheel come off of the
Do you
ground.
know No, do you know what happened? Yeah,
Well, I
exactly.
heard you say that his bars had rolled forward.
They rolled forward. He said he couldn't get them back. Look where his
I
flip
know.
levers are. They're pointing to the ground. So his bars were still rolled forward and he still went for the double flip in the double up. Like, and he said, he's like, I don't know if these bars were going to like roll back towards me in the end, like
Uh,
completely the opposite direction. And he's like, oh, I got to go for it.
well, I think it
That's
probably
nuts.
helped him, right? He had extra leverage because his bars were further forward.
Ah, that's true.
I don't know
Extra,
about that.
extra leverage with double the amount of stress.
Yeah. Well, I would think that, yeah, just the awkwardness of it being here. Shadow's going to join us for a little bit here. Oh, she's just there. She is.
Yo, hey, you kidding? That's cool. We got Shadow in on the show. Hey, there you are. She's like, oh, Luc Ackermann's riding. Awesome.
She's
Yeah, I'll
looking
check
at
this
me. She's like, "Why are you laughing?"
out. You're not talking to me. What what are you doing?
Why are you guys laughing? Stop it.
So that was a solid run from Luke. That was massive, double flip, not knowing it ourselves, but his bars were rolled forward on that double flip. Like that there is impressive. The
Yeah.
ruler flip, one of the biggest ever off
And
of a
for
regular ramp.
as for big and strong of a guy is, the way that he gets like pushed through his shoulders and scorpions out is very impressive because,
Yeah.
I would be super stiff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And like remember back the old days of Deegan when he was so buffed up, he was
Yeah.
super, super stiff. But Luke is really like he's starting to get the style really coming along, even though being a bigger guy. Um, and
You're
that was
y-
the point where the bars rolled forward.
you know, I didn't think about that, but like you were just saying, he has definitely smoothed out a ton from,
Yeah.
years ago. He was still throwing the big tricks, but he was definitely a little bit out of control at times.
Yeah, exactly. It was a bit out of control. It was a little bit sketch sometimes. Or, like the holy grab wasn't really a good holy grab in the past. But now, man, he's looking good. So I think if you scroll back a little bit, would be Davide Rossi. You should be the first one you see. Yeah, top four final, Davide Rossi. So, right. So now we're in the final. Davide Rossi, Jose Mincha, Michael Malero, Luke Ackermann. 2 extra jumps each rider. I think it was maybe 20 seconds extra on the clock. They definitely didn't need the extra time, I think. Like,
No.
everyone got around this course pretty fast. Davide Rossi, I think, was the fastest, but I think he really should have used it to his advantage, like grab 2 or 3 extra jumps.
Yeah, pull the old TP back in the
Yeah,
day, and him and Bartram, when they would get like 5 extra jumps on everybody and get scored on them.
exactly. I think Davide kind of missed a really good opportunity because he got around this the fastest. Uh, maybe if he thinks about it for Dresden or the future, like, yeah, just keep a few tricks locked in the back of your mind if you got the time.
The Euros love the heel shift.
Yeah, I know.
Uh,
I have never done that in my life.
I did trying to
Never.
do hole shots, but other than that, I've never done it like on a start. Sometimes I'd click with my heel, but yeah, everybody here loves to do it. That was a huge dead body,
Yeah.
perfect
Actually, I
style.
think Squibby was the first guy I noticed when I got to Europe. And every time he's just there, heel shifting, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, are you sure it's in the right place?
Exactly. I guess if you're just going into second, that was a awesome cliffhanger flip, perfectly
I thought it was a
extended.
no-hander on that angle, but actually that was full Cliffy.
Yeah.
Feet under the bars. I thought, yeah, that's a huge no-hander, but yeah, massive Cliffy flip. Stripper flip was pretty damn good.
Yep.
Again, Davide Rossi's also a pretty tall guy. Like, there's a lot of arms and legs that need to move about and get into position.
Yeah. So that was like a one-handed grab, two rock solid.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly that, like, one hand bar solid kinda thing? I
Well,
don't
he
know.
was already one hand. Like
Yeah,
he didn't
exactly, and
come off at the
then
same time. He was one hand, then released with his second hand, which is
yeah,
pretty cool.
that's it. Clicker to Indy flip on the jacked up Euro ramp. The jacked up Euro ramp sounds like it's sitting behind an In and Out in Hollywood. Um, so Davida put, like I said, he put together a pretty good run. He had at least 10 seconds there, maybe a little bit more. So he could have at least snagged one more trick,
Yeah.
maybe two, if he wanted to. And the double up. Now I forgot. Oh no, I remember what he did for the double up. Same as qualifying. This is the one-handed knack front flip, and here's the old heel shift.
See, he just went twice. Oh, because he went down in the first.
Yeah,
But I was like, what gear are you in?
heel
Third? What's going on?
shift, one-handed knack. Now, I at the time I thought it might have been better, but when I watched this angle, it doesn't look better than his quali run. I think maybe he was getting arm pump by now.
Dude, he's making me tired trying to run up that
Yeah,
airbag. That took
yeah, I
forever.
yeah,
That's a big
they're
airbag.
not designed for people to go up them. They're designed for people to land on them and go down.
Do you guys are we next time are we gonna require them to dance and then I can score their dances afterwards?
Oh, like X Fighters,
Yeah.
Ronnie Renner style?
Yeah. That's
No,
what he's
that
the
is
one that implemented
that's
that.
forbidden. That's forbidden.
He's definitely the genesis for you have to go out and pump the crowd up after your run.
Yeah, yeah. It was like the X Fighters judges just went, that's what we need to see."
Well, they're like it's
Maybe it was
get
Tess. Maybe Tess is just like, "Guys, I just need everyone to dance." That's what the TV networks want. I don't know.
I think they were just trying to get more the crowd, into it more and I guess then it became like the more excited you looked about your run,
Yeah,
it helped overall impression, I guess.
that's
I
it.
think it was more
Instead of
trying to get the crowd involved.
yeah, get the crowd and try and sneak an extra point or two. At that point, though, I'd say that's like doing a one-hand lander. Like, dancing at the end of your run is like doing a one-hand lander. I would
Yeah.
deduct points. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I would have been terrible at that part.
If that's what they wanted to see, like, if it's all about dancing and whatever, then I would do exactly what I do when I go night clubbing or something. Not that I do that, but I'd be the guy
Bring
sitting
a
at the
drink
bar. So
with you?
I'd finish the run and I'd just sit, like, leaning up against the pole or something at the end, just, like, drinking a beer and, like, "Okay, you guys can dance. I'm gonna drink a beer over
We have the same dance style, so
here."
I've said this
Avoid eye
before.
contact.
If I'm dancing or singing karaoke, I'm too drunk to do either. So you
Yeah.
should probably stop me.
Yeah,
Just
put me
be
in the
like, I
cab and
don't
send me
think
home.
this is a good idea.
Exactly. All right, so that was Davide Rossi. Two extra jumps. His run was kind of similar to the quali. Um, just I think for Davide, if he does his homework again, like if he just comes with different tricks in the final, I think would have probably really helped his
Yeah.
overall impression with the judges. Um,
The
but
problem
it was a
is
solid run. It was a solid
the
run.
the problem is he doesn't have like extra tricks where he can not do some in the qualifying run to get into the final. Where like
Yeah,
a couple of the guys, like even
have some bangers.
yeah, exactly, like Malero didn't do this in his quali run, he just saved it for the final. So for
Yeah,
me, even not knowing that he was going to do that, I was like, oh, he changed it
yeah.
up. It's something he stepped it up for his final.
Exactly. And first jump of the final, bigger trick than we saw in quali. Like that's kind of the education, I think. That's the school of when you get to the final, surprise. everyone. Surprise the judges, surprise the crowd, come with something fresh.
And
And
I think what Malero did, first trick being something huge, I think for me, if you can show that you're comfortable with one of your biggest tricks from after being cold, and sitting
yeah,
around for the last 30 minutes, and then at the end of your run, still not be too tired to pull a massive one, which everybody's kind of acclimated to that here because of the double up.
yeah.
But if you can do a banger right off the bat and at the end, and especially something that I hadn't seen earlier in the night, that's going to get you a big score.
Yeah, exactly. Like again, just like Quali, this is a perfect run pretty much from Malero. Big tricks, a lot of fronty combos that we've never seen from him before. Caught over to super flip, tough combo. Not many guys doing that one.
My biggest takeaway from Malero is that he has a cut rear fender.
I know, I love it. That's exactly what I said. When he arrived, I just saw him rolling his bike in, and I'm like, man, I love that rear fender. Like, we're going freestyle, baby.
Yep. So was that uh I was waiting for a second view of that, but do we think I think you were
What was that?
questioning it too. Well, was it a
Oh, was that
360?
the just go back because I've watched the footage. I haven't seen a good enough angle.
I think
Yeah,
this
so it
might
must
have
be
been
like
after.
in 2 tricks time, that's fine. I haven't seen a good enough angle yet to call this one way or the other. I feel like I would probably call it a whip flip.
Me too, but I think in his head he was going 360 because
3.
he turns into the if you did a whip,
Exactly.
you would turn out.
Yep. So I feel like he's going for it, but maybe a fraction like if he was a fraction earlier on the ramp turning, that would
Right.
probably have come out nicely as a 3, but to me it looks more like a whip flip but looking over his left
Like
shoulder.
he's pulling
I don't
and
know.
then at the end turns into it
Yeah,
versus
yeah,
kind of like you said, leaning into the. If you watch Luke, he's committed to the 3 like halfway up the ramp.
yeah, exactly. That's it. So that was the full run. This is now the double up, double the points.
Oh,
No! Fucking screw
all right. I
Squarespace, go to Tough Jug.
guess I got him. Guess I'm gonna have to pay for the YouTube. Damn it.
And
Oh,
that was the Superman front flip. Uh, so something different again from Malero. We've not seen those front flip combos from him. I think up until now, we'd only ever seen like a knack and a no hand fronty. And tonight, or that, Saturday night, he brought the Indy, a good knack fronty, Superman fronty. Like, you could tell he stepped it up.
what?
You looking for that 3?
No, I'm looking for. This might be the highlights. Look at his seat. I just realized this.
The hole in the seat?
Yeah.
So that hole in the seat
Is
is
that
for
for
his
his
California
varial?
roll.
Okay.
Yeah. So he, like, grabs in, like, holding it almost reverse in the middle of his seat. Instead of holding the seat grab, he wants to be a little bit further over. So I guess it's easier to get back on the
Plus, you could
spike.
like spin your hand in the hole, whereas if you were on a grab,
Exactly. Yeah. And he's not a big dude, so that hole's not the biggest one ever in his seat. So it works out pretty good for him. But man, I was pumped with this. It was a good run.
yeah,
That was the Cali roll where you can see his hand just spins the whole
yep.
time in the seat. Nice titanium subframe he's got now as well. I saw that
I, I would
before he
say
started
his
riding.
front flip knack was a little better in his qualifying run. Look how
Yep.
crooked he
Oh,
was on that.
yeah, I love that view of the ruler flip. He just swung from side to side.
Yeah, he that was
That was
awesome.
sick. Yeah, and then Cliffy flip, pretty big. Not bad, like not full extension, but still pretty good.
Yeah.
Nice indie flip.
Which I think it's weird he didn't go front flip for his double up
Would have been
versus
better.
yeah, then the suit.
Oh, there we go. There
That's
you go.
definitely he was
Right.
definitely going 360 there.
he was going for it, but I don't know if I could call it.
No,
Would you still call it a 3?
no, that's
Or would you
kind
call it
of,
like a small 3, or would you call it whip flip?
well, I call it a small 3. So like I gave him that he got like not deducted, but it didn't score as high as it could have because I
Yes.
think it's intention, right? Like if he's
True.
going whip flip, then it's one thing. It's like the I don't remember who did it. They were doing a double flip at Masters of Dirt or something, but it went super crooked.
Oh,
And some people were saying,
Adolf Silva.
is this a new trick? And I'm like,
No,
what
he was
was
going
his
double.
intentions? Exactly.
Yeah.
And I originally thought he was going like 720. And then when I watched video of him practicing, he was just doing straight
Yeah.
double flips.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
It just got out of control.
exactly. So I'm like, that's an out of control double flip versus a maybe weak 720 that nobody's ever done,
Yeah.
which I would have scored higher.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, he could now go home and go, you know what? If I kind of do what I did then, I could land this. Because he got that thing straight for landing
Yeah,
at Old
which was
Silver.
impressive.
Yeah. So that was almost like cat like reflexes that he could even do that.
So when I watched practice in the pit, he did get a teeny bit sideways, but it was nowhere near like at that show. And
Yeah.
you know as well as I do, like when you're a little bit nervous sometimes with when people are uncomfortable with flips, they'll like over pull on one side versus the other.
Yep.
And I kind of
Yep.
think that's what happened. I think he got excited, and just probably pulled a tiny bit harder on one side. But
Yep.
like you said,
Exactly.
he still has, I mean, obviously he's a great mountain biker, but you can tell how good of air awareness he has. Because, like you said, you could easily get totally out of control and just land on your side if you pull crooked.
That's it. So this was the big run of the night. This is Mincha in the final. The last two riders, Mincha versus Luc Ackermann. All eyes on Mincha. One front flip combo down.
Big
Big
lazy
lazy
flip.
flip. And looking at the crowd
I think he was
in
looking
the
at
middle
you,
of it.
Steve. Weren't you over there?
I think he might have been. Yeah. He's just like, just make sure you're watching me, buddy. Two flip levers up, front flip,
Huge.
tsunami, KOD style.
Yeah, that was huge.
Massive. So again, the only rider who has ever done that before at Night of the Jumps was David Ronaldo about 5 years ago. Massive backflip cliffhanger, almost like Pat Bowden style,
Yeah.
like looking up as he does it. So
Tiny
at
bit
this
short.
point, huge. Yeah. That is what are we calling that? Suicide no hand front flip or recliner front flip, whatever it is, it's massive.
Once again,
Um,
Javier called that a rag doll. Oh
a
no, he has the
ragdoll.
one. That's the one leg up and the arms back.
Ah, yep. And that was a big heart flip. So like big combos from Mincha and pretty good style. I'd say
Yeah.
like kind of an electrifying style. Caught over front flip. That was his big double up from the previous round. He's now used it up in his run. What's he
Right.
gonna come with for the final? Like,
That's where I was at too. I was like, okay, that was his double up, so he has something
oh,
else.
and this part right here, this is where I was losing my mind. I'm like, did he think he'd finished his run? I'm watching the clock, 7, 6, 5. I'm like, is this his double up? Because he took so long. Went for the Cali roll. First time we've seen that from him at Night of the Jumps. And he was so pumped. I'm like, did he forget a trick? I think
Yeah,
he forgot a trick. He's pumping up the crowd. And I'm like, okay, well, then he's one trick down. He's probably going to lose a lot of points right now, and you've got 35 seconds, I think, for the double up. And then I'm like, oh, hang on.
yeah, he's
Maybe
going
he's
again.
maybe he is going again. And then I was like, shut the hell up, Steve. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. This dude knows where he's at. And all he has to do is start this before 35, and he's in the corner, 33,
Whoa!
34.
Oh my gosh!
There we go. Front flip, seat grab Indy, never done before. And I was just like, fuck. What where are we going with this? This
Yeah,
is an insane run. The highs, the lows. Actually, there was no lows. It was just like Is he going to get it done? Is he going to get it done? And that is the excitement that you want from a run.
Yeah, and I agree. I was also like, because he paused before the varial.
Yeah.
So I was like, does he think? And then he did a trick that I hadn't seen in the first run. So I was the same way. I was like, I think he thinks this is his double up.
Yep. And at that point, I was like, where are we going? Like, he potentially just threw his final run away,
Right.
and he completely proved me wrong and probably everybody else by stomping a trick that I've only ever seen Tom Pages do on the next gen.
That shot was
Not the
better.
dirt. Yeah, seat grab indie front flip. Looking through,
You guys are making lots of money off of this over there at Night of the
man,
Jumps.
that well, are we? Not, I, I don't know how many ads we need to watch to make some money on that, but I mean, look at this lazy flip, perfect, laying on the seat,
That was
holding the rear
huge.
fender, huge tsunami front flip. Everything was big,
Everything.
big cliffy flip.
I do like the hands up better.
Yep,
And which
exactly.
that's just a style thing. So I mean, it's not like you can necessarily
That's
deduct or
it.
anything for that. But just saying.
No, but I mean that's where you have four. At this time, we had four different judges, and that's what they're there for. To what do you like in style? That's
Yeah.
it's like an asshole. Everybody's got an opinion. So,
Yep. Well, and my thing
nice.
too is there was a couple of things. Now, obviously, it was a killer run, but I'm just saying for nitpicky reasons. He like over rotated a little bit on something. The big pause. I'm not really a fan. Like if two runs are basically like say there was two runs that were exactly the same. If somebody paused, I'm gonna give the nod to the other guy because
Yeah,
I like to see it just like flow the whole time and no stopping and thinking or anything like that.
yeah. No, exactly. I mean, that's all part of it. That's overall impression. It's kind of a technical deduction you could call it by not just keeping the thing moving,
Yeah.
taking time out. But I mean, 279 points still isn't that much more than Malero, really. Like, that's only a couple of points from each judge
Yeah.
that he's down. So Malero, technically not that far away, but Mincha was definitely the better rider of the two. So at this point, Mincha is in front of the master. They ride together. He lives at Malero's place down there in Spain. And I think Malero is actually quite happy, like that he's brought some young kids through. There's another couple of guys who are throwing down at Malero's house every day. So
Oh, really?
I guess we'll see. Yeah, I think we'll see some more. Like Pablo Nayert looks almost the same as Mincha,
Oh, wow.
and he's on a Stark Varg as well. So that'll be interesting to see how he goes. Hopefully we might see him at the last round in Stockholm, Sweden. Oh, did I just give that away? Oh dear.
The Stark is probably best case scenario for foam pits, huh? Because you're not going to light the pit
Yeah,
on fire.
unless that lithium goes up,
Oh, that's
then you're
true.
really in
Then
trouble.
you're really in trouble.
All right,
And
so
you're not going to have gas leaking out of your tank onto you.
no, it definitely would be better, I think.
So he
So yeah,
starts
this
it
is
off,
the
yep, with a
final run.
big,
Luc Ackermann. Yeah,
big KOD flip, just like earlier. He does the holy grab, tries to add in the rock solid at the end there. Little bit small, but
yeah.
I still
You
give
could
him,
see he wanted something extra. You
yeah.
know, he
No
wanted to
handed
bring just
flip
that bit
on the
extra. Yeah.
actuated ramp.
Yep. And as you were saying, like he just keeps rolling. He's pumping the crowd up. 360, and that's like the first one I haven't seen him stall out in
A long
years.
time. Yeah.
So I was thinking he might be a bit nervous, and I kind of forgot why until I think now. Is it now or maybe the next round? No,
No, it's not
must be
this
the
one.
next
Yeah.
round. Yeah, so flip levers up, 5 jumps down, 8 to go. Oh, not 8 to go, but 8 in total.
He
That was the trick
smoothed
that he
out.
kinda
Yeah.
exactly, that was his mistake, so he got that one better. So, at this point, I'm like, "Alright, this is a really good run, solid big tricks, and" well, one-hand lander. Um, deduct points. And I was like, "This is a good run." I forgot about this. See how tight he got to the wall for the run up,
Yeah.
front flip, next gen, real front flip. That's it. End of discussion in
There
my
you
mind.
go.
I was just
Yeah.
like,
Well,
"Man,
well, we'll get to the all the ins and outs
to the
here at
real
the end.
discussion."
Yeah. Then just a big old BMX Superman. I still
Yeah,
like
that
that
one was
style of
fun.
Superman.
Yeah, I saw Levi banging out a good one just last week, actually. Just huge.
He's annoying
Um,
too, that he probably rides like once every couple of months.
to be retired for like 5 years and still send it better than most guys who train every
Exactly.
day.
Exactly.
So so that was a huge run, and then he finished it double up, double flip, perfect. Man, I don't know where you go with that. Like in my mind of what we saw on the night, this to me was a clear win for Luke purely on difficulty of the tricks that he chose.
And
Just on
variety.
that alone. Just on that alone, I would give it to Luke. And if I wanted to back up my opinion, what you said, variety. And if I really wanted to back up the opinion,
Yep.
track use.
Yeah. He hit the super kicker, the front flip ramp.
Super kicker now. There you go. Nobody else jumped that ramp the whole night.
Yeah.
He jumped it and double flipped it. So there's a few bonus points on that one if you wanted to really get nitpicky.
And like we said, he
Uh,
did front flip actuated ramp, super kicker, next gen, and I
yep, this is the next gen, massive.
want to say he basically rode the next gen on that one side, huh? And then the regular ramp on the other side. Did he hit the regular
Uh,
ramp on this side? No,
yeah, there you go. Yeah,
that's the
360. That was the
yeah.
regular ramp, 360 on the way back,
So
next
he's
to the next
literally
gen.
hit every ramp on the course.
Yep, no other rider jumped every ramp on the course. That's that's
Little
already
weak
one thing.
on the click.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that one weak on the click and one hand lander, so you can deduct a couple of points there. But this is the big one, the real front flip. That's it.
Yeah.
You know.
I wonder if he's ever
How
three'd
many
the
guys?
next gen.
I don't know. I think Bilko has. I think Bilko's three to next gen
I'm sure.
and the Moon Buddha. I don't know if anybody else has.
Do we think Bilko has probably three'd more ramps, style of
Than
ramps than
Bilko.
anybody?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I don't think anyone's come close to Bilko.
So again, Mincha's run was awesome. It was very exciting. Everything was good. His style is great. There were a couple of little bobbles, but that's not even why I went Luke. It was because other than the varial, I would say all of Mincha's tricks that are kind of like there's not very many people doing them, and he's like one of the first people. Was from the front flip actuated ramp for the most part, which
Yeah.
I'm like, I love it and it's awesome, and he's showing progress. But just like we said, uh, Luke has huge tricks off of the next gen, the super kicker. He's doing things most people aren't doing on different ramps, and he rode so many different ramps. I know for myself to try to get used to 6 different ramps, dude.
Yeah.
Like that sounds like terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad I never rode X Fighters. It would be too much. I don't think I could remember that many jumps.
Well,
Yeah.
but X Fighters, right, was all standard ramps. Well, there was, super kicker, quarter
Maybe
pipe,
120 or something.
120 exactly, and then everything else was a standard ramp. But here, you guys have so many different ramps, and not even I kind of put the quarter pipe a different thing because it's not like
Yeah.
it's just a small variation. That's just like a totally different thing. But otherwise, these ramps, the timing on them has to be a little bit different on
Every
everything.
single one.
And
Every
he
single
greased
ramp.
them all with big tricks. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. I've heard all of, well, not all of them. I'm sure there's more opinions out there, but I've heard
for
enough
sure.
opinions left and right, like to Luke or to Mincha. I I agree with you that that was a Luke Ackermann win. That to me was clear as I watched it, but that's how I view FMX. Like to me, Luke is going for the biggest stuff. Like that was an X Games best trick run when you throw in a 360 and a double flip and a real front flip.
Yeah.
Everything else, icing on the cake, they're all big tricks. Biggest ruler flip, nobody does them bigger than Luke
Yep.
on a regular run.
Except for Levi Sherwood still, even though he's retired.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true. God damn it. Yeah, you're
I
right.
know, you
Damn
jerk.
Levi.
What's wrong with you?
Oh, yeah. So for me, it's a very simple argument. Luke Ackerman, massive tricks on every ramp of the course, tricks that most guys don't even want to attempt, and he just makes them look easy. Yeah, he's done them for 3 or 4 years, and we know what's coming, but he's done the hard work. He's crashed more than most people ever will on those tricks, and now he's getting the reward for it. On the
That's
other
true.
hand, Mincha, super exciting. Like that's what you want. You want crowds to go home going, "Fuck yeah, that was the coolest thing I've ever seen." But technically, I mean, you're a judge. I've been a judge. As a judge, you have to call it, and the tricks aren't technically harder. It's
Well,
then you're looking at what the crowd thinks, and that definitely comes into it for sure. But in my book, that was still a Luke Ackerman win.
and like you said, it has been a long Luke has way more time obviously in freestyle. Um
Yeah,
but you can tell because he does so many, like in my head Jose was at the front flip actuated ramp trying to learn as many tricks as he could on that.
yeah,
And then watching Luke's, he's doing it on all different ramps.
yeah,
So that's the biggest thing for me. And I mean that's it basically. The variety, course use, variety, and his tricks are not just one specific like thing that he has become super proficient at. He's
yeah.
proficient on all ramps. And I
Everything.
think
Yeah,
that the issue is, like you said, we have seen Luke do a similar run for a couple of years. So I think we're a tiny bit jaded to what Luke can do. But you can't
yeah,
discredit him for, it's like I keep saying, I think 360s is still one of the biggest tricks in the business solely
yep,
because not that many people do it, which must mean that it's very difficult.
yeah. And it's been around for 20 years. Double flips, the same. Next year will be 20 years of double flips,
Really?
and there's still not that many. Yeah,
Oh,
2006,
you're
wasn't it?
right. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. Holy
And
smokes.
still only a couple of handfuls of guys have ever done a double. Like,
Yep.
you make a mistake on a double, it that's a big crash.
Yeah.
So what is the level? And that has to come into it. Like, so in my mind, like I I would love for if Mincha had maybe one of those big tricks.
A
Then it's
three.
a different conversation.
A
Yeah.
100% with the body varial because Luke doesn't
Yeah.
have a body varial. So now if
He
you,
does. He
oh,
has done body burials. So maybe Luke
wow.
goes home and's like, I got to do my homework again. I got to remember how
Yeah.
I did that last time 7
Well,
years ago.
well, if Jose steps up in a couple of areas, yes, he'd better start thinking about trying to bring the varial back. Because if he
Yeah.
puts the varial in that run as well, dude.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, but if Jose was able to come up with a three or a double,
I was going to say, Jose's probably got a far better chance of landing a double flip faster than Luke going back and getting a body varial, because a body varial, it's tech. Like
Yes.
you gotta be feeling pretty good when you're throwing that around. Whereas a double, you just twist the throttle and go, and it's just huck and hope.
Right.
No, not huck and hope, but you know what I mean. Like
Yeah, it's a little more just kind of muscle, and it's not quite as technical as like
exactly,
trying to spin around and grab back on and everything.
exactly. So I feel like if Mincha wanted to go for a double, oh my god, that's a different conversation. Then
Then we seriously got
then
an
I
issue judging.
really don't want to be a judge.
Yeah, it becomes like very hard at that point.
Yeah,
This is all
that's
I
all
gotta
on you,
say.
pal.
I don't know. Our sport's just sick.
Exactly. Oh man. Now imagine if Twitch was still riding proper FMX. Like if he was still banging it out and somebody was nipping at his heels, he would be out there learning tricks and
Yeah.
coming for it. So maybe Minch is like that little bit of, I don't know, he's young. He's only been riding FMX for 1.5, maybe two
Well,
years.
that's the thing, right? Is like, of course, Luke has a bigger varying of tricks and ramps because he has more time in it. So to look at what Mincha's done in the amount of time that he's been doing it is
Yeah.
insane. But it does it all, not all, but most of the things center around the one ramp.
Yep.
That's
Exactly.
my only, and that's not a knock. That's just where he's
That's what
at
we
for
saw. Yeah,
given
yeah.
the amount of time he's like a year and a half, dude. That's
In a year and
insane.
a half, I'd barely done a seat grab upright.
That's insane,
Like,
you know?
jeez.
So there's
Yeah.
definitely no slight on Mincha, but you're just dealing with the man right now.
Yeah, that's it. And he won the best whip comp. Like in a year and a half or 2 years, he's got one of the bigger whips out there out of most riders, and all of those tricks on a Euro ramp and a front flip ramp.
Yeah,
Let's see him in one more year. Let's see where
exactly.
that is. God,
Exactly.
let's see him in 2 months' time in Dresden. Maybe we'll see him in Dresden. He's not planned, but
You would imagine at
let's
this
see.
point, you guys and he would like to do it because he's definitely a title contender.
Definitely.
If
The
he's,
problem is that dude is fully booked.
I'm sure.
That's yeah, he's a busy boy. Him and Malero and Resi FMX, they their calendar is looking pretty damn booked for the whole year.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're just having a chat, see if we can see him again. I hope we do, because
And
that was wild.
props to Malero, riding as well as he rides, and bringing all those guys in. And,
Yeah,
I'm sure, I think you brought it up in the show. I'm sure it's helped revitalize him a little bit. But a
yeah.
lot of people don't want to have that much. They don't want to breed their own competition.
Yeah,
So,
that's exactly what Malero's done. Like, I'm going to give him 100 bonus points.
yeah.
He has brought Mincha into the fold, and Pablo. We haven't seen Pablo yet at Night of the Jumps, but he looks quite similar to Mincha, and obviously quite similar to Malero. Like,
Yeah.
how many guys genuinely are happy? Malero called me and said, "You have to bring these two guys. Like, they've got to ride Night of the Jumps." And I don't think I know very many guys. Maybe Brees a little bit with Paul Manesi, also the same, but not many guys actively would say you need to bring this young guy. He's
Yeah.
the future.
Well, how
Um,
about Torres and
yeah, Danny. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, he basically did the same for Malera.
For Michael, yeah, yeah, true.
So,
So maybe Danny paid it forward to Michael, and now Michael's paying it forward to the
yeah.
next group as well.
But
Yeah,
that's
very
awesome.
true.
I mean, because
Yeah,
otherwise this whole thing's going to die, you know?
yeah, yeah, exactly. That's it. So man, huge respect to Malero on even doing it in the first place, and then advocating for those guys like big
Yeah,
time. He was pushing me hard to bring Mincha when we didn't know who
who
Mincha
he
was.
was. That's awesome. Yeah, big props Malero. And also great riding as always. And yeah, just cool to see him still out there and ride at the level. Even Libor, great to see Libor still
Yeah.
out there riding at the level that he's at. It's awesome. I know I'm only a couple years older than Libor, and guess what? I don't want to have to do that.
You don't want any part of it.
No.
Nah,
All right,
I'm
guys.
with
Well,
you on that.
thanks for joining us and watching. Please go over and give the actual Night of the Jumps event round 1 a watch. And like I said, comment what you think. Do I have no idea what I'm talking about? Is that a good call? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, was Clint right or wrong? Guys, if he's wrong,
Hey,
hammer
hey,
him.
hey. There were other people, okay?
Oh, okay. There's three other judges, but you can hammer the crap out of Clint, and we'll
I
check out the
will
YouTube comments.
respond. I will respond with all of their social medias if it's a negative content, and then you can let them know what you think as well.
Maybe I'm gonna do a full preview in Dresden round 2, like of all the negative YouTube comments.
Yeah.
Like, Mincha should have won. Get Clint off the judging panel. This is rigged. I don't know, something like that.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Steve. And thank you guys, Night of the Jumps, for letting us, not demonetizing us for watching the footage.
Exactly. Awesome. Thank you very much, man. Catch you later.
Yeah, later.